Today, I'm going to show you how to get the most out of your tracing paper. We're going to answer congruent questions. We're going to see it rotating or doing multi-step questions, even trig transformations. And I'm also going to show you how you can use it to help you with more complicated diagrams. And if you have other ways of getting the most out of the tracing paper, then please do share them in the comments. Okay, let's have a look at all those questions in a little bit more detail. So once you've traced your shape, you can then twist and flip the paper. So you can take the shape and place it over the top of the others and just keep twisting and flipping until you can determine whether or not it's going to fit. So it didn't fit the first one. I'm having a go now at the next one. Again, twisting and flipping, and you can see eventually I work out that it can fit perfectly. So A and C are congruent. Now, this is a rotating question. So again, you trace. We're being told that the centre is 5, 4. So we plot that point, and that becomes our stabbing point. You stab there, and it enables you to twist that tracing paper. Now, a top tip here is to add in an additional line. So I usually make it a north line. That way, if I'm being told to rotate 90 degrees, I can do that. And I know that I've done a full 90 degrees by just using that grid. But be careful of slippage. You can see that my corners aren't perfect like the original shape. So sometimes you just need to do a little adjustment to get it in the right position. And don't forget to label. So it's just showing you where you would put it. This is a combination question, and the first part was to reflect the shape in the line x equals -1. So I've marked that on, and again, I'm going to trace my shape. And when I trace my reflecting line, again, I'm going to do a little marker so that when I pick that paper and flip it over, I know exactly what I'm marking it up to. And then I can go over the top of my shape, and it will leave a little imprint, which I can use as a guide. Now I'm doing this by hand. If this was my GCSE, I would be using a ruler and making really nice sharp edges. The next part I've already done. It was actually asking us to flip it a second time in y equals -2. And the actual question is asking us to work out the combination as a single transformation. So again, I'm going to take my tracing paper, line it all up, and I'm going to stab at the origin. Here it's a bit of a trial and error. That didn't work. I'm trying somewhere else. That's even worse. So we're going to try somewhere else. And it's just you keep trying until you work out where that center is. So that is my center. And the sentence that I would write down is it's a 180-degree turn. It's a rotation in the point -1, -2. We've got to be careful with the trig functions. It doesn't do everything, but it will do a translation. So again, it's just tracing. And then if there's a vertical or a horizontal movement, I can just slide my tracing paper around to work out where my final answer would be. In this case, it was a vertical movement down 2 places. So this is a little different. Now, the reason that I would encourage this, well, there's 2 reasons. One is as you are tracing everything out, you are giving yourself an opportunity to really see the detail in the diagram. I can see those parallel lines. I've just drawn a triangle. So sometimes things don't necessarily pop out when you're looking at the entire diagram, but when you do something like that, you start to see details. Now, of course, you've got a copy. It doesn't matter what you do. You can identify different areas, try different ideas, annotate, do the maths. You might hit a dead end and have to go again with a new piece of tracing paper. But once you're satisfied, you can then copy across the information and you haven't messed up the diagram or your page whilst you've been giving your ideas the chance to flow. This is working in exactly the same way. So as I trace the shape, I can see there's a couple of triangles. There aren't any right angles, so I'm thinking it's unlikely to be Pythag or basic trig. So my head is starting to go to advanced trig. Once I've got everything copied, I can do as before, annotate and make my notes. The question's asking me to find this side. I have an edge, I have an angle, but I don't have this edge. I don't know what that is. If I knew that, I could use the cosine rule to find x. So that edge has now become the critical edge in the problem. My second triangle, I have angles and opposite edges. So I'm going to be able to use the sine rule to help me solve the question mark and then go on and get the x. So my first step is sine rule, my second step is cosine. And go to the formula sheet. If you're a 25, 26, 27 student, you have that sheet, so make sure that you are using it. So there are just 3 ideas for using the tracing paper in your exam. Why not start using them in your revision and see how it works for you? If you have other uses for that tracing paper, please do share it in the comments. It would be great for us to build a real bank of strategies when it comes to this tool. You can have that tracing paper given to you many times over. If you use it up and you need more, then put your hand up and get more. Hopefully this has been a really helpful video. Please like and subscribe if you've enjoyed it. If you're new to the channel, please go check it out. We have got mock papers, practice papers, we've got predicted papers, we've got all sorts of things available to you. We also have playlists that have the revision in groups by grade. So if you really wanted to just focus on 8 and 9 or 4 and 5, any grade level, then there's lots and lots of past exam questions where you can just focus by grade. So yeah, go check it out.